Fresh Take is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subject matter. You've been warned. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the NBA Fresh Take preview with the number 4 team, LA's best basketball team, the Los Angeles Clippers.
They're not LA's team, but they're the best LA basketball team.
Yeah.
Best California basketball team.
Yeah. This was the team that was surrounded in controversy near the end of the season last year. That's all gone. New owner. All the iPads are gone.
Long live Steve Ballmer! And that amazing introductory press conference.
Out with Siri, in with Cortana.
Oh, yeah, that's right. His
Yeah.
name is Cortana.
Yeah.
Where did all those iPads go?
This is the Lakers get them now.
Did they get dumped and down the storm drains, or?
Maybe they get them to the Kings. You won a Stanley Cup. Here's some iPads.
Well, that's kind of bad. Maybe the players just you see Jamal Crawford with 13 iPads just walking out. What are you doing with those iPads? Research.
Here you go, Drew Doughty. So obviously the big controversy around this team. That's how the season ended last year. Does it affect them coming into this season, or is that kind of wiped away and the mentality now is winning?
I think it's winning.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers came back. He re-signed.
Now he's part of management.
Yep. He had some added responsibilities. I think all the players are just happy that they're playing for someone who's as energetic as they are.
Yeah.
You think about this Clippers team, they have oodles of energy. Mm-hmm. They just love running up and down the court.
Shouts to Doc Rivers too.
He handled it really
because
well.
he handled this really good. We hear all this stuff from Ramona Shelburne, one of the LA reporters from ESPN, about no one in the front office really knowing how to handle it. And he just kind of took the helms of this team. A lot of people were mad in Boston how he left, but I think he redeemed his eye in a lot of the way we view him in a lot of people's minds because of how he handled the situation. Mm-hmm. He did a really good job about that, and now it's really just back to playing basketball with this team.
This is a championship or bust team.
Absolutely.
This and I'd say next year probably these are their windows.
Blake Griffin took a huge leap forward last year.
Third in MVP's voting,
and he's been working on a mid-range jumper too all off season. He didn't go to Team USA.
No.
And he's been working on a lot of inputs. If he can start hitting threes, that's really scary.
He needs some threes, and he also needs some post moves because he's a face-up player.
Yeah.
Those are his two really only weaknesses. But third in MVP voting just goes to show you his work ethic and how much people really loved him the past couple of years.
With KD out, does he think he takes another leap up, and do you think he could be the MVP this year?
That's a very very tough question,
yeah.
But it's not outside the realm of possibility, especially given what he means to this team.
This is the team that can win the West easily, at least the regular season title.
Sure. Yeah, no, they're up there. I think that with the Thunder taking a little bit of a hit.
Yeah.
They got to capitalize on some easy wins.
Best point guard in the NBA, Chris Paul.
Pretty easily. I would think Chris Paul's almost more valuable than Blake Griffin to me.
I would agree.
I think it's Chris Paul's team, but I think Blake Griffin's probably the better player.
Well, here's my view on this. When Chris Paul came into this team, it changed how you viewed the Clippers. I mean, for the longest time, you got a Darius Miles jersey on right now. You kind of just think about the Darius Miles, Q Rich, Blake Griffin. This is kind of the remix of Showtime.
They were fun.
It was fun and flashy. And then Chris Paul came to this team and was holy crap, the Clippers are an NBA team. They will win games and they will knock you down.
Baron Davis and Blake Griffin was really fun to watch, but you knew they weren't ever anything serious.
No, and they never made equations, and a lot of that was a really bad owner. And that's one of the bright spots, too, of this Clippers team. Now, they have a great owner, and we kind of saw them, even under the old regime, being in J.J. Redick, who's a great addition to this team. I don't understand why they brought back Glenn Davis, but Spencer Hawes, I think, is one of the sneakiest offseason moves that's going to pay off in the offseason, because DeAndre Jordan cannot hit free throws down the stretch.
Well, Spencer Hawes is just a better shooter. He's a stretch forward, stretch center.
Yeah.
He's not that rim protector.
And it's good to give them some depth off the bench when Blake and Spencer go out. That's one of the things we've seen them struggle with. For example, against Memphis a few years ago, they just had a hard time competing with the front court that some of these teams had. And now they have it, and DeAndre's in a contract year as well, and he's going to get paid.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Clippers just love to they love to spend money on shooting guards and small forwards.
Yeah.
There's an overabundance. I think that's one of their biggest weaknesses is the fact that they have like so many shooting guards. Jamal Crawford, 6th man of the year, probably one of the best shooting guards. I mean, top 5 for sure.
JJ Redick, who we know can knock out
At
the
the same
lights.
time, just the small forward position is definitely kind of, I'd say it's the weakest link of their puzzle.
Well, I mean, Matt Barnes, tough guy. He's kind of Jalen Rose like to say he's the leader of holding it back.
Dude, he's one of those guys I feel like he doesn't look very big, but he could punch you really hard.
They have Reggie Bullock on this team, who we're familiar with from Carolina days.
A great 3-point shooter.
Great 3-point shooter. Never got really much burn last year. I'd like to see him get a little bit more of a chance to show off his skills. Chris Douglas Roberts showed that he belongs in this league last year. Maybe a nice sneaky equation guy that can come off the bench for them.
Yeah, not as good of a shooter as the rest of them, so I think maybe they're kind of addressing the defensive needs.
And then they brought Jordan Farmer in as a backup for Chris Paul. But here's my thing is, you got bumped up by Kendall Marshall, who was in the D League and came up. So how can I really trust you to be the backup point guard in this team?
Yeah, I think this team's biggest weakness is obviously their front court depth, because you do have all these shooting, like these good shooting guards and small forwards, but no one really did kind of anchor anything. Like when Chris Paul went down, things kind of like Blake Griffin elevated his play. At the same time, you need more than just a really good power forward.
That's one of the reasons I question why they got rid of Eric Bledsoe. Because can you imagine if they still had Eric Bledsoe on this team? That'd be very, very scary.
They need 2 guards. Right now they have 1 guard.
Yeah.
And they have, because Jamal Crawford's not the guy who's going to play 35 minutes. He's a heat check guy.
No.
You want to score 10 quick points? Throw him in for 10 minutes.
I would suggest that maybe they get some talks with Phoenix about maybe getting a Tyler Ennis.
Tyler Ennis.
Because, I mean, we talked that Phoenix backcourt is really log jammed, and I think Tyler could learn from a guy like
It's like
Chris
the
Paul.
exact opposite as the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Just total opposite teams.
Yeah. With the Clippers, man, it's going to be a tough out for a lot of teams in the West.
They got a great rim protector. They got MVP candidate Blake Griffin. They got best point guard.
And I think with all the controversy last year, their focus was on other things.
Their focus was on not playing rather than playing well.
And this year, I think they have a goal in mind. And, I never thought I'd say this, but the Clippers are serious NBA championship contenders.
They're also a team that, they're the West team that I want to avoid until the finals.
Yeah.
If I can.
Yeah.
I don't want to play them first, second.
No, especially with all the stuff that Blake's working on with his shot. I mean, he went from being that flashy guy to now just being for the longest time I just saw Blake as that guy, but last season
He had handles.
Yeah.
He had a great ball handling control.
watching the stuff that he improved himself on really impressed me, and to hear that he's working on that mid-range jumper is really scary, because now he can pull out a little bit, and that's a huge advantage for the Clippers, because if he misses that shot, DeAndre's right down there, and then you have to worry about DeAndre in the post. So Clippers, man, very, very scary basketball team. And we didn't even talk about JJ Redick, who is just lights out shooter.
We love him. No matter, even if we hate him, we NBA love him.
The NBA love him. It's good that he finally found his home in the NBA. For a long time in Orlando, it kind of looked like, is he one of these college guys that was a stud that kind of flamed out? And last year, he was just really a serious scoring threat for this team. So, gotta watch out for those Clippers. Next up, we get to the top 3, and the king has returned. This has been a Fresh Take Stick Boy production.